Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a video today providing some commentary and some of my insights from Powerlifting America Nationals from this past February. At this meet, I did manage to win my first Open National Championship, which was amazing, and it was probably one of the best competitions as far as competing against multiple other competitors that I've ever been a part of. So I just wanted to kind of put this out there and provide my input, and I'll start to do this with my competitions that I have moving forward. So just a little background here. I did have an injury. It was about 8 days out where I found this out afterwards, but I separated my rib on my right side. So I was a little unsure right off the bat as far as how squats and deadlifts were going to go, especially. I had to call them early for my last training session. The good news was, in warm-ups, it didn't become a huge issue, and I could put it out of my mind. Now, that first squat moved pretty well with 325 kilograms, and it set me up for momentum going into the day. Now, this second attempt squat with 340, and you'll notice whenever I stand it up, what happened was my rib shifted where it was separated, and the best way I can describe it was like being punched in the gut a little bit. And you'll notice I stumble on my walkout, and it made my confidence go down a whole lot. And if you watch the lift right here, it moves really well. The commentators mention this if you listen to the commentary. But, once your confidence is down, whenever you have max weights on your back, it can be detrimental. So we put 7.5 kilos on the bar because this is one of those competitions where if you miss a lift, the day is over for the most part. So we had to be confident with this 347.5, and watching it back, I had definitely 5 more kilos left in me, if not 7.5. But because of that, nervousness with my rib and everything, this was an important lift just to get on the board. And the fact that it moved well set us up well for bench and deadlift moving forward. So this was less than I hit in training, but it did match a PR and at a lower body weight, so I can't complain about a 347.5 kilo squat. And I mentioned to Bill that I could check it off my bucket list that I was the last squatter before Ray Williams at this meet, so I thought that was really cool. So now kind of on to bench. This was something, and I'm still a little bit, call it salty about my bench press performance, and I can't blame anyone but myself here. Warm-ups felt all right, maybe a little heavy. Originally the plan was to open with 205, and we lowered it to 202.5. And as you can see, that moved pretty well. So funny enough, I actually got drug tested between my bench attempts at this meet. Basically, I went to the bathroom after my opener, and guy tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, can you pee in a cup?" I was like, yeah, I'm in a hurry, but I can. So I was rushing around between that first attempt and the second. I do feel like it was a miscommunication with the doping control officer, and he got antsy and asked me, which was kind of weird, but I don't think it affected my performance. I definitely had to kind of refocus after that whole thing. And as you can see, this second attempt moved pretty well at 210. And then moving into my third attempt, basically Bill and I talked about, what should we take on the third? And we came to the consensus, hey, let's take 5 kilos, the sure bet. We had actually expected to have more in the tank than 215. So I did not expect to miss 215 by any means. I had hit this in training, and as you can see, I'll let you just watch it. It didn't go. And I actually got it higher than my usual sticking point, so I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but I'll be kind of bitter about this one for a while. And the announcers mentioned, hey, I left the door open for Enrique and Mike, and I agree. I 100% left the door open. I could have slammed it shut with that third bench. But whenever you miss a lift at a meet, you have to be like a baseball player, right? Baseball player strikes out, they clear their mind, and then go back for another at bat. I do the same thing, right? It's on to deadlift. I knew that, you know, coming into this, I was going to have the weight for the win in my hands. The question was, can I perform well enough for that weight to go and make that lift? So into deadlifts, I was excited. I knew whatever was going on, the bar was going to get the job done, and Bill was going to make good calls. 320 kilos, move like it should, solid opener. I'm very happy with my deadlift progress, even though it didn't show as much in this meet. You know, in training, I hit a 785 pound deadlift, and I only had to pull 771 here. But, you know, all of that deadlift training has at least put me in position to be at the end of the pack, or at least with the biggest deadlifters, which I think is really cool. I've always kind of wanted that. So there's my second attempt at 340 kilos, 749 pounds, moving pretty smooth. And I went ahead and added in here Enrique Lugo's last pull, my last pull, and then Mike Tuchscherer's final deadlift, because it was a bit of a three-way battle that we had going on, jockeying for position, etc. So Enrique, you know, laid it all out on the line, and he did this last year. We were down to the final deadlift, and I know he had some difficulties, adversity, just like we all do. You know, I had issues with my rib. I know Mike had issues with his back, right? You never come into a big meet completely fresh, but Enrique took it to the limit. And right here, this lift was called as a good lift right off the bat. And that put him in the driver's seat, right? I was going to have to make this final deadlift in order to win. Now, as we'll see, you know, that lift gets overturned. So ultimately, my final deadlift that I have to do coming up here, I didn't need it for the win, but had I known that I was in first place, maybe I wouldn't have had that extra emotion to make this deadlift happen. And who knows, maybe Mike goes for first place and we have some sort of different outcome. So, you know, I just want to take a minute. We'll watch this deadlift, but Lane Norton says it best. This is exactly what you train for all those months. To have a pull for the win for a national championship in your hand. This just seemed like the longest, probably 20 seconds of my life, waiting to see, you know, and whenever you pull a lift, you feel like it's good. That's how I felt. I felt like it should be good, but you need those lights for confirmation. So that kind of ended the day, and actually walking off, I fully expected Mike to put in the change to pull for the win. And I do want to make a note there, Enrique, such a great sport. You know, gave me a hug and said, hey, congratulations, you got me this time. I'm going to get you next year. And that's exactly what I said to him last year. So it's so fun to just push each other. Yes, it is. And at this point, I'm actually in the back intently watching Mike's deadlift, thinking to myself, he's going for the win. And I start kind of counting the plates and seeing the greens on each side, and I realized he was going for second here. So it was about at this point that it dawned on me I had kind of secured the national championship, which, you know, I'm going to cherish that moment for a long time in my powerlifting career. So really thankful for that. Also, just getting to share the platform with Enrique and Mike, who has been someone I've looked up to since the beginning of my powerlifting career, was just special. So there it is, Mike kind of sneaking in there with the silver medal. Awesome for him, kind of his comeback meet. So overall, this was a blast of a meet. I always have a great time with the 120 guys. Everyone down there is a pleasure to be with. The commentating was top notch. I wouldn't have been able to do this without my coach, Bill McCarthy, and everyone else who supports me along the way. SBD, bulk supplements. So with that said, hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy lifting.